to America's Real Estate Show. We are so excited that you are here with us today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. If you're new, welcome. I'm Ashley, your host, and we bring top producers from across the nation right here to our studio in Chicago every single Friday at 11 a.m. Central. As you can see, we are live. This is not pre-recorded. This is a live show, and we're so excited you're here, and I cannot wait for you to meet an absolute powerhouse who has joined us all the way from Indiana. So I'm going to say hello to Miss Cecilia Espinoza. Hello, Cecilia.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel so honored to be here with you. When you invited me, I couldn't believe it. So
you couldn't say no. You had to say yes, right?
Yes.
Well, we are so honored that you're here, and it is just a joy to get to share this time with you on the stage. So before we dive into our topic, I want everybody who's watching and listening just to get an idea, just a little glimpse as to what a powerhouse you are. So I'm gonna read off some of your achievements, okay?
Okay.
This is super fun. So it always serves as a great reminder of how awesome you are. So you have been in the top 1% for 3 consecutive years in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That is huge. As an individual agent, you have closed over $75 million in sales, 350 units in your career, and about 100 of those you closed just last year.
Yeah, almost.
That is incredible. In 2023, you were NAHREP's Rookie of the Year, and then I think they just released it maybe a month ago. You are now in the top 50. I think you are around 44. Is that right? Ranked somewhere around 44?
Yes, around there. Yeah.
Yes, across the nation. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That is absolutely fabulous. So you have just absolute determination, such a hard worker, and I can't wait for everyone to hear how you have built your business, because that's what this show is all about. It's about bringing top producers here who are going to share their secrets, their playbooks, so that everyone else can figure out how to emulate and model what top producers are doing.
Of course.
Yes. So I would love just to kick off our conversation by starting your journey with your son. And that is a journey that you've been on now. And I mean, you have 3 children. So this is one of your sons who I'd love for you to tell us about, because there was a moment that happened in your life that really changed everything. And it did propel you into the real estate industry. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, yes, my middle child, he is diabetic. He was diagnosed when he was 18 months. At that point in my life, well, I have a master's degree in manufacturing systems, and I wanted, of course, I wanted to work in something related. But at that point, I needed to study diabetes, right? And I really needed to focus on my kid's health. But when he was ready to go to kindergarten, I'm like, okay, now what am I gonna do with my life, right? But I knew I needed to find a job where I could be there for him every time he needed it. And then I started thinking on what I wanted to do, and I talked to the realtor that helped me buying my first house. Her name is Liliana Caro. She's amazing. And I asked her if she had something for me, if she had a job to offer me, like an assistant or something. And she told me, like, I think you have all what you need to be a great realtor. Why don't you get your license? Like, how? I didn't even know how to do it. She helped me to get my license, and here we are.
And here we are. And now tell me if I'm remembering this correctly. When you learned about your son having diabetes, did you not become a preschool teacher for a little while?
Yes, it was for 3 years. He was so used to his daycare, and I needed a job. And they had an opening, so I said, like, okay, I need to take care of him, and here we are. The owner of that daycare is a really good friend, and I asked her, like, okay, you need a preschool teacher, I need a job, and I need to take care of my son. She told me, like, I don't see you as a preschool teacher, and I agree. But I was there and I did my best for 3 years until he was ready to go to kindergarten.
Right. Well, I mean, again, that just shows, you were determined to do absolutely everything that you could for him.
Of course.
And it just changed your life in a lot of ways. And then you ended up being introduced to the real estate industry, which is so awesome.
And I really believe that God has a way for everything, and that was my path. I love what I do, and I couldn't be happier.
Yes. Well, and thank goodness your friend, instead of saying, well, sure, I would love your help and expertise, but you need to do this. So that was wonderful that she was the one who really saw in you, no, you need to become a real estate professional. You don't need to be behind the scenes or be my assistant, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important to have people like that in our life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Just
of
to cheer us on and see things in us, that maybe we just don't recognize in ourselves just yet. So I think that's so important.
Yeah.
So you got into real estate, and did you always know, did you have this knowing and this sense of really what you were going to carve out as being your zone of genius, your niche, kind of the ideal, clients that you wanted to serve? Did you always have this inner knowing of what that looked like?
When I was studying for real estate, I realized that I really wanted to help my community to build generational wealth, to grow, to be better, And as soon as I started my career in real estate, I started in Coldwell Banker, and my managing broker told me, we were doing like the marketing plan, setting up my goals and all of that. And I told him that I wanted to focus my marketing plan to the Hispanic community. And he told me, okay, but why do you want to limit yourself if you can be more than that? So he kept me thinking, and then I realized, no, okay, let me dig a little bit more. And I found out that at that point, 7% of the community in Fort Wayne was Hispanic. And that at that point, there were just 3 Hispanic realtors, or bilingual ones. And it was more than enough, and that was my purpose. I really wanted to help my community, so it's no, I really want to focus all of my marketing and my energy into helping my community to do better, so that's what I did.
So speaking of that, how important and what type of advice would you give to all the agents who are watching and listening? How can they find their own zone of genius? Because what I just heard you say a couple of times is purpose. Purpose, right? And I think if you know your zone of genius, that helps you to understand yourself, the purpose, the direction, and it gives you focus. So as you were saying, when it comes to your marketing plan, it helped you really know where to put your energy. So what type of advice could you give everyone so that they could figure out their own zone of genius when it comes to who they're going to serve?
When you start, I think the easiest way to do it is know yourself. Try to figure out what your likes are, what you enjoy doing, around what kind of people you want to be. And that is the easiest way, because actually, if you try to be someone you're not, just to be in, for example, you say, I want to sell $1 million houses, so I'm gonna enroll myself in the most expensive gym because I want to meet people there, and I have seen it before, but they're not even a gym person, so they're just there just to meet people, and that's not gonna work because they're gonna surround themselves with people that they don't have the same likes, or I don't know. So I think it's just know yourself and surround yourself with people that have the same interests, and of course, try to meet new people and go to places, but meet people that has the same interests as you. So that way they can connect better with you, they can feel more comfortable with you, and they're gonna trust you better with something as big as buying a real estate.
Right. Well, because what I hear you saying is that's also going to make you more comfortable too, right? When you're really with your, tribe of people, then the relatability just really goes up, right? And so it's easier for you to make that connection and build kind of that know, like, and trust factor.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the agents who are watching and listening who immediately panic may have set in right now? For those who might be afraid of picking a lane, right? Because I think that sometimes they do get a little bit nervous about, well, gosh, if I pick this specific lane, then what about all these other people? So kind of like going back to those days when you were with Coldwell Banker and what the broker had said to you, that broker was even kind of alluding to the fact, well, gosh, why do you want to limit yourself? So what type of advice and what would you say to anyone out there who's feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel the anxiety, I feel the panic, I don't want to limit myself?
I could not call it limit yourself because, of course, I have had clients from every other sector. My specific nature, people that I focus my energy is people between, more than 30 years old in the Hispanic community because they feel more comfortable with me and I feel more comfortable with them. But I have had clients, a 21-year-old kid, a football mom, veteran also. So I can serve everyone that wants me to help, of course. But for marketing purposes, I think it's so much better if you just try to put all of your energy in the people that you're gonna serve that is gonna feel more comfortable with you. Okay, real estate is already stressful. Being in this business is already hard sometimes. And if you are with people that you're not comfortable with, at the end, you're gonna hate being a realtor. And that is not the purpose of being in this business. The idea is if you love what you like, you're gonna do it so much better.
Oh, 100%.
So, and more, if you love the people that you are surrounded with, it's gonna be so much easier.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad you said that because I made myself a note, and I know we were visiting before the show, and one of my absolute favorite industry leaders is Tony Robbins. So I wrote down this quote that I thought was so perfect, and it just really, I felt like was so Cecilia. So he always says, find a way to do more for others than anyone else. Do more, give more, be more, serve more, and be obsessed with adding more value than anyone else. And you do all of that so beautifully. So what we're gonna do now is really transition and give all the agents who are watching and listening some examples on how you're doing this. Because again, you've said a couple of things here already at the beginning that are really important that I want to stress and highlight. Passion and marketing. So yes, you are here, you can help anyone and everyone, but when it comes to you really channeling your energy, particularly in marketing and where you're going to spend your time and energy, you're very intentional about what that looks like.
Yes.
So let's give everyone some examples of what that looks like for you, and hopefully that will get some ideas going for them as well. So the first example that I want to hop into, and of course, I picked this as the first because I love sports. So I was super excited to hear how you are supporting one of the most famous soccer leagues in your area. So talk to us about how you were doing that.
Well, the Hispanic community, we love soccer, right? And I try to connect with my community as much as I can. And so we are sponsoring the soccer league in town, and that way we have a big presence there, and we can support for soccer to keep growing.
Yes, okay, and tell us more about how you do that specifically. You have a really cool t-shirt. right?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, yes. All of the championship T-shirts has our logo there. Also, we have a banner and we have space during the tournament to be there to give them waters, to say hi to everybody 2 times a week. So that way we can connect with everybody there.
Yes, and I got to see a picture of the t-shirts and they are so cool. I mean, everything, your branding is just right there, right in front on the t-shirt. The whole soccer team is wearing them, and you have to tell everyone this story because this is so cool. I mean, you had this idea that you wanted to sponsor the team, and you were the one who initiated it. I mean, you picked up the phone, you made the phone call, and you asked, hey, how can I do this? I want to be involved more. So I think that's a great teaching moment for everybody.
Yeah, if you already know your niche or the people you want to serve, just try to be present. I think that is the most important thing.
Yes,
try to be there all the time.
And for you, like with sponsoring the soccer league, that was one of your ways to demonstrate to your community, hey, I love what you love. Mm-hmm. Would you say so?
Yeah, I love sports. I'm not a soccer fan. No, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I love my people, and if they like soccer, I'm gonna be there.
That's right. But you said it. You love sports. So even though you don't play soccer, I don't play soccer either. But I love all sports.
I love all sports. Well, and any sport that my kids are playing, I love it.
Yes. And are they in soccer right now?
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
See, so there you go. That's fantastic. So the second example I want to dive into is the Fiesta Fort Wayne.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a presence at this particular fiesta, so I want to dive into that. So just to get us started, will you describe for us what the fiesta is, when it is, and really kind of what your role is there?
Well, Fiesta Fort Wayne is the Hispanic fair in town, and they do it every year. In September, this year is going to be August, and there is where you can go and eat all of the great Hispanic food that we have in town. There's music, there's different shows, and there are different sponsors too. And we have been in Fiesta Fort Wayne, being part of Fiesta Fort Wayne during the last 6 years. And it is great because you can talk to everybody, you can engage with the community. I have seen their previous clients and we just catch up and chat a little bit there. We also do a raffle, and that's the way to get more connections, and mostly new connections with new people. And this year, for example, we're gonna do a raffle of a $500 gift card, and they just need to go to the booth. That way, we invite people to come to Fiesta Fort Wayne, because that is also another purpose of it. And we make them register, like our Instagram page, our Facebook page, and that way they can get into the raffle.
Okay, now tell us about the balloons, because I think this is a genius marketing idea.
Well, in the Hispanic community, family is everything. So we always go with all of our children, and we always have a lot. And children love balloons, right? So we decided to have balloons with helium and give every single kid that is going through balloons. So that way our balloons are always on top of all of the heads with our logos. So you can see Espinosa Realtors and now Realty of America everywhere around the fair. So
I love that. Now I'm imagining that if one little one has a balloon, then another little one is going to see it, and they're going to be asking to, like, where can I go get it? Like, I want a balloon, right?
Yes.
So
and every kid comes with mom or dad, right? So that way, when they approach, they're like, "Oh, you want to register for the raffle? Just put your information here and give us like."
Oh, see, that is so perfect. So that's, again, just what I'm hoping to highlight for everybody is listen to how Cecilia is being so strategic in everything that she's doing. So not only did you pick one of the biggest events that your community loves, now your marketing brain turned on and you're like, okay, kids are going to be there, the family's going to be there. I want balloons. My logo's going to be all over the balloons. When they're floating in the sky, the kids are going to see it. They're going to want one. And now mom and dad are coming right over to your booth. They're saying hello. They want a balloon for their little one. And then you have the opportunity to talk to them about entering the raffle, which of course they have to leave their information to be entered into the raffle. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, now something that you told me that I think is really important is you said, you know what, Ashley, this event it's fun. It's not a place, it's not the time or place to be talking business.
Yeah, no.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I want all the agents to know that you're not trying to engage in any type of business conversation at this event. This is fun, and your engagement is, hey, enter our raffle. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, yes, I think I'm not a good salesperson. I'm definitely not a salesperson. So what I do at the events, I just say hi to people, catch up, ask for family, how the kids are doing, and I love seeing them there. But we get their information, right, to get into the raffle. So after that, I think the follow-up is more important. You follow up with them, and I call every single person that is registered on that list. I call them directly, and I don't start with a sales speech. It's just, I cannot stand when they call me with a sales speech, so I don't do it. So I call them, again, I start thanking them for registering. If they win, great. If they didn't win, I just give them the bad news, I guess. and well, we start talking. Did you like the fair? What did you like the most? What kind of food did you like? And then the conversation start turning into, hey, how long have you been in Fort Wayne? Do you like it? And are you considering staying here? Oh, and then I start leading that conversation into real estate. Do you own a house? Oh no, I'm still renting. Oh, if you're still renting, why don't you own a house? Like, do you know that is kind of easy and you're not gonna be wasting money? Well, I don't know where to start. Oh, of course, I would love to help you. If you're interested, I would love to help you. What if we set up an appointment? I always try to lead those phone calls to appointments, like face-to-face.
Yes, so your intention is to connect with everyone who has come to your booth and who has entered the raffle. So I want to just kind of summarize your thought process here, right? Mm-hmm. So they've entered the raffle, now you know exactly who you're calling. And you said every single Monday after this fair, and you've been doing it for how long? You said 6 years? So every Monday after this fair is over, you know exactly who you're calling. And you're calling to say, thank you, I'm so sorry you weren't the winner, right? Because you do typically announce the winner on your social media, mm-hmm. right? So then you're leading them into a conversation about real estate. But that's not the first thing that you're doing. You're building rapport, you're visiting with them, you're trying to get an understanding of kind of who they are and where they are, maybe what season of life they're in. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah, because you're not gonna lead the conversation the same way if it is a younger person that is just starting, is single, have not a lot of responsibilities, that what you're gonna tell a single mom that is in her 50s, you know, is a little bit different. But you want them to understand at the end that they can trust you and that you're gonna have their best interest in mind. And at the end, as I told you at the beginning, my interest is for them to build generational wealth. So that way, if they already own a house, I plant the seed of, have you thought on investing? You can invest in real estate. Maybe you have enough equity in your house already. Or let's use, if you don't own a house and you're a younger person or just starting a family, have you thought in a duplex? So that way, the rent of the other apartment can pay for your mortgage. And that way, they start getting a little bit more engaged and interest in that face-to-face appointment.
Definitely. Well, and again, what I hear you saying is, you don't have a script. You know every single person is going to be different, so you don't go into making these phone calls with any type of script, but you do go into these phone calls with an intention. And as you just said, your intention in the back of your mind is, I really want to help as many people as I possibly can grow their generational wealth. You really want to teach them how to do that and how investing can really change their life. Would that be accurate?
Yes. Yeah,
So
completely.
would you say that by having that intention in your mind that helps you when you're making the phone calls? Because I can't imagine, it's hard to sit and pick up the phone and call people that you don't know. But if you have the purpose and the intention, then it maybe doesn't make it so hard. So what do you think about that?
Yes, of course. I don't like scripts, and I told you yesterday I just cannot follow a script. I know a lot of brokerage tells you, gives you the script, you're gonna say this, you're gonna make the phone calls, but at the end, even AI can do it better than you if you have a script. The real thing is to make a connection, a personal connection, that even in a phone call, the person on the other side of the phone knows that they can trust you, that they can trust that you have, again, their best interests in mind, and that you're gonna do all what you can to help them build that generational wealth. And of course, I don't start my speech with, I'm gonna help you build generational wealth. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. That is just maybe assume, I would say, through the conversation. And then I want to give you an example of a family. I met them at the Hispanic Fair, and I invited them. I planted the seed of, they already had a house completely paid, and they were happy with that. So like, okay, is that your forever house? Like, yeah, I don't know, because the kids are growing, and maybe in the future we could think in another house. So like, and why in the future if you can do it now? Well, no, right now, I don't know if it is the right time. So at the end, we met in person. Like, okay, you can buy another house that is gonna be your forever house maybe, and with the equity of the house that you already have paid in full, they didn't even know like how much money they had in this house, right? Because they bought it 12 years ago for nothing, and right now they had a good investment. So they took, like, they did a cash out, took the money out of that house, and they bought 2 investment properties. They put their money down for those investment properties, and they bought their forever house. So at that point, just like this, they already have 3 rentals. They were a little bit scared. Right now, they have 5 rentals 3 years after, and everything has been paying by itself. They haven't put any money on that, and they didn't know how. And now she was a stay-home mom. He is the one working, and now she is a great property manager, and they are calling me to see when they can buy the next one, Now, I think I love that story because that is what I want to create in my community. Like, yes. I want to create a different mindset. Like, we can invest in real estate, we can build wealth.
Yes, I'm so glad you told that story. And really, again, what I want to showcase and highlight with what you just shared is this all happened because you were intentional about being present at an event, which in this example is the Fiesta that you've been doing for 6 years, and you met them there, and now today you have completely changed their life. So that has got to make you feel just great.
And of course, as you can see, okay, I'm helping them grow, but at the same time, I had 5 sales just there. And I was not thinking about the sale. I was thinking about their best interest and to help them grow.
Yes, well, and again, just going back to I'm just gonna say, in addition to intention, it's like your personal mission almost, right? Yeah. And that really drives everything. And I think that's so important for everyone just to really key in on, and really find that within themselves. What is that mission and what are they connecting to? For you, you are always going into pretty much every conversation, whoever you're meeting with in the back of your mind, if I have the opportunity to help them build generational wealth, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So when you're making your phone calls, that's how you're converting them into appointments, because you're having conversations and you're leading them down the path. And for those people who are open to that idea at that time, then they're saying yes. And then you're bringing them into your office for a meeting. Is that right?
And even if they don't say yes at the beginning, the seed is planted.
Yes.
And a month, 2 months, a year after, they call. Like, hey, I remember you telling me this. I want to know a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
And this family that I'm telling you about, they already refer me to all of their family. So that's why I don't get leads other way.
Right. It all.
I don't need it.
That's right. You don't need it because you have shown your value. You've helped change their life. And then why would they not want to share that with their friends and family
Yes.
as well? Right. So I love it. Okay. So let's move into a second example, which is your big client appreciation event that you do every year.
And
which,
it's been growing and growing and growing. I don't know. I will need a stadium at the end.
I love that. Well, I want to be invited to the next one, okay?
Okay, of course, buy a house with me, and you're more than welcome.
Okay. That's my ticket in. That's my ticket in. I have to buy a house with you. Okay, so let's talk about the date, because I think the date is really cool. And again, intention, you're all about intention. You do everything on purpose. So tell everybody the date that you have your client appreciation and why you chose that particular weekend.
Okay, yes. It needs to be the weekend before Thanksgiving. That is important. Why? And there's always a why, right? The why is the next time they are gathered together with family is going to be Thanksgiving. And the first thing everybody asks is, what did you do during the weekend? And of course, that's going to be Cecilia's name at the table. I was at the appreciation day with Cecilia, and I won this prize. And then again, the idea is to stay on the top of their minds, right? And that's been helping.
I know, there you are. You were like, dinner conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over Thanksgiving, because they just spent this wonderful time with you at your client appreciation event the weekend before. I think that is so genius. So who typically does get an invite to your client appreciation party?
Everybody that has bought a house with me.
Okay,
And their
everybody.
families.
Everybody and their family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And then how do you handle the invitations? Are you mailing invitations? Are
I
you
mail
texting?
invitations. Since I help them buy the house or sell the house, I have already their information. So I mail the invitations. And then the week before, we start trying to confirm how many people, because then you don't know how many people is going to go. And we start texting everybody in the office. I have an amazing office manager, and she is the brain, and she helps me to get in track, and we try everybody to help with that task, and we start inviting everybody again over a text so they can respond like, oh yes, we're gonna be there. Okay, you and how many more? And that way we can have like a count of people, but it's always a surprise.
Always a surprise, I know. So tell everyone again about, so you've mailed the invitations, and then about how far in advance of your event are you starting with the texting to essentially, which is really pretty much your RSVP process. Mm-hmm. So how far in advance are you starting that before?
Just 1 week before.
Okay, so 1 week before.
Because that helps as a reminder.
Yeah, of course.
Because sometimes they forget. We're busy and more around that time of the year, and that helps as a reminder, like, hey, and we send it as a reminder.
Right, and then you're asking, who will you be bringing, so that you can account for them as well. So that's perfect. Another thing that I think that you do is so genius. I mean, back to social media, and you love Facebook, and you've done such an amazing job really leveraging Facebook private events. So you set this up as a private event, is that right? Mm-hmm. So your office manager has the list of everybody who's ever purchased a home from you, and then you have someone on your marketing team who then invites everybody on that list into the Facebook event.
Yes.
Right?
That is right.
Okay, which is all kept private.
And yes, because there we start promoting who our sponsors are, because part of the event, part of the success of that event are the raffles. We also do raffles there. we Hispanic people, we love raffles. So we invite everybody, all of the sponsors, insurance, inspectors, home warranty, new builders, title companies, that they have helped us through my career. And they can go there and set up a table for them to promote themselves during the event. But the only thing they need to bring is a gift, a big gift, to put in the raffle. And they're pretty amazing. We have had tablets and iPads, iWatch, like a basket. It was a $500 basket gift.
Of different gift
a lot of
cards, TVs. And you're
yes.
showcasing all of these in the private Facebook event,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So now I know you have kind of a cool way of doing this, like you're rolling out the prizes, right? Like you don't show all of them at once.
Sorry if you're all looking at this, but yes, I do that on purpose. So surprise, yes, I start promoting the first gift we received from a sponsor, and we promote them there. We put their logo and the gift they're giving, right? So, of course, they are also in that event page, and all of the sponsors are also there, and they can see what the other sponsor is bringing. So they try to improve it and bring something better.
They try and one-up each other. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I do that.
Sorry, sponsors. So, but what I think is the genius move here is that you are showcasing the prizes that you're going to be giving away, because that gives everyone excited. It gives them another reason to want to come to the client appreciation event and party, because they're going to have an opportunity to win one of these gifts. And at the same time, another brilliant move on your part, on a way to really thank your sponsors for donating the gift, because now they're getting featured and highlighted in your private event group as well.
At the end, the people you work with, title reps, the insurance agents, all of them, lenders, of course, become friends. Yes. Because you work so close with them, you trust them, of course, and them helping your clients, and they become friends. So it's a big family gathering.
Yes, and everyone gets to celebrate together.
Yes.
So just kind of staying on the theme of the raffle for a minute, you also use this in a genius way for registration. So let's talk about that a little bit. When everyone arrives to your event, they're checking in, and this is a great way for you to update your database.
My database, yes.
Yes, so talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, they need to register, and as a family, they get one ticket for the raffle. And that way, if I had something wrong, or they change their phones or their email addresses, whatever, that way we can improve it. And also their friends, for example, if someone is bringing his cousin, then now we have his cousin information too.
Yes, I see, genius right there. I mean, you turned your raffle into a CRM. I think that is so brilliant. I love it. Now, one of the I think this is one of your other superpowers. I mean, you have so many, I'm having a difficult time thinking of just one that I want to emphasize. But I would say absolutely one of them is just, your loving heart and this beautiful spirit that you have. And so something that you do at your event is you make sure that you and your children go around to every single table at the event. And you are there and you're asking them what they would like to drink, and you are truly serving them at your own event. I mean, you are like the hostess extraordinaire. So talk to us a little bit about that, and what is that experience like for you?
Well, it is amazing. It's amazing to be able to serve all of the clients that have been trusting in your expertise in something as important as their own house. Because for a lot of people, that is the biggest investment in their lives, right? So being able to serve them and to know me in a different way, because it's not in a showing or behind a desk signing documents. It is in a party all together where they can see my children, when they can see us serving everybody. I really like it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yes, well, I love what you just said, and maybe you can just, elaborate just a little bit more on this piece, that it shows them a completely different side of you. You're taking off the hat of, I'm a top producer, real estate agent out here, right? You are now in service to them at this client event, and it's all about showing your appreciation. So, and especially when you have your children with you and you're going around and you're saying hi and thanking everybody for being there, I mean, do you feel like, okay, I get to just be a different Cecilia? They get to see this different side of me. What do you think they get to see that's different than when you were right in the middle of a real estate transaction?
Well, when you are in the middle of a real estate transaction, you need to be professional, right? Even when they feel comfortable with you, but you need to keep that professionalism there. When you are in an event where you are serving your community, I don't know, it's just, they see you like the mom, the person that is behind that professional face. No, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a little bit more humble to be there for them. Like, yes, I'm so thankful that you trust me, that I'm here to serve you.
Yes, well, and maybe this is the first time that maybe they're meeting your family. So they do get to see and experience the whole Cecilia, right? Not just the top producing agent Cecilia, which I think is really important, because then that connects with them on a completely different level.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And you get to meet, for example, their mom, that you knew the mom was coming to live with them, and that's why they wanted a house with a master suite in the main floor. And you get to know the grandma, and you get to know all of the kids, and you get to know like the family in a different way, like playing, eating, dancing, and it's really fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because it reminds me of something else you shared with me that I think is really beautiful and genius that you do, that just goes back to your heart of who you are. When you're working with these families, you do a lot of posting of the closing photos. You don't necessarily do videos. A lot of agents that I've spoken with do videos, but you really like doing a beautiful picture. And then you write an absolutely just beautifully thought out message. So can we talk about that for just a minute?
Well, in the process of showing them houses, most of the time you get to know them a little bit. Right? Sometimes they pick the second one and you didn't have the chance, but some other ones you show them 30 houses. And at that point you really know them. You feel part of the family.
Right.
But yes, you see the little girl picking her bedroom, and I love children, and that's what it really gets into my heart. Or you see the wife that is so excited about the garden that she's going to be able to have in the new backyard, because they were living in an apartment or in a smaller house. And that's why I dedicate my message to like the part of the family, that more personal part that I get to know about them.
Yes, so you
during the
post.
process.
So you post the picture, from
family picture.
The
They
family
come
picture.
They come all gear up because they know I'm gonna take the picture.
Yes, and they're ready. They're ready for their Hollywood moment.
Yeah.
So you take the picture, you post it on your socials, and you write a message. This is what I really want to highlight for everybody. You're writing a message really to the family.
Yes.
And you're picking something out from that experience that you had that probably only they will know, right? So you're not so much focused on telling the story of the transaction. You're focusing on maybe one of their little ones, just couldn't wait to pick out their bedroom. And so you share a little story about that when you post the picture.
Yes.
Yes. So can you maybe give us a little example just to give everyone an idea? Because this really, I feel like this is like a note. It's like this little, just a love note is what comes to mind, right? Because you're showing love back to your clients and you're remembering very specific things that happened in the transaction that were very special for them.
Not every transaction is easy. Some of them are a little bit tougher. And I had one client, she's lovely, and she was so stressed during the process, so nervous about everything. So she told me, I don't want to do this anymore, like 20 times, at least. And I kept like, no, everything's going to be fine. Just leave the stress on me. You're going to be good. Just follow my steps, just follow my lead, and you're gonna be okay. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Like, no, Ceci, I cannot do this anymore. Like, no, this is too much. Like, calm down, we got this. We went through inspection, appraisal, all of the process, right? And at closing, she was the happiest ever. So of course, I posed her picture, and she had this huge smile. So that huge smile came with a lot of stress behind, right? Because she spent 30 days, I'm pretty sure she didn't sleep for 30 days. And of course, the note, probably nobody could understand that. The note, I cannot remember the note, but it was directly to her.
Yes.
And she called me. It's like, I thank you. I really appreciate this. I cannot believe it. This was a dream come true. And I probably just because you pushed me too much, I did it.
Oh,
Like,
I love it. That
Yes.
is such a perfect example. I love that. Okay, now, don't go anywhere. We're going to take just a super quick mortgage minute break because it's always important to know what is going on in the market.
Of course.
And then I'm going to come right back because I have one final question that I would love to ask you that I can't wait for the audience to hear about. So live streamers, don't go anywhere. I would love to welcome to the stage a 30-year veteran in the mortgage industry, Miss Irma De Leon, and she's going to give you a cool mortgage minute tip.
Cecilia.
Hi.
Hi. I really enjoyed your story. I was very touched by the story of your son and how you did everything you had to in order to take care of him. You adapted to the situation. Not only adapted, but in my mind, you conquered it because you were there right alongside him. So you taking that into your career where you have really tuned in to your clients and what's important to them has led you to great success.
Thank you.
So congratulations. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on your great success in real estate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Irma De Leon, and I am the Executive Vice President with SunWest Mortgage. I'm a 30-year veteran in the mortgage industry and a single mom of 2 incredible sons. Last week, I touched on the VA home loan and how important it is for all of us to understand about this home loan. I got a lot of great DMs, so I want to touch on it again today. So in America, United States, we have 18 million veterans, and only 3.7 million veterans are taking advantage of the VA home loan benefit. 33%, according to the National Association of Realtors, don't even use this program because they don't even know that they qualify for it. So here are the 3 highlights that I touched on last week that I want to elaborate on a little bit more because I got a lot of DMs asking me some more questions. First one would be 0 down payment. So there's no down payment required by the veterans, and that's a great benefit. You can actually have a seller's concession up to 4%, and on top of that, the seller can pay all the closing costs. So they're going to end up saving so much more money and may not even have to bring any money at all to the closing table. Second, no PMI. So that's going to help with the affordability on a monthly basis. Now, I had a great question last week about the VA funding fee. If you have a disabled veteran that became disabled during service, they may be able to waive the funding fee. The funding fee would be added to the mortgage. So for example, on a $400,000 home, it would be about, if it's a first-time home buyer, it would be 2.15%, which is about $8,600 that would be added to the mortgage. So in this scenario, if it is a veteran that was disabled during service, that can be waived. So again, it's going to help them save their money. Then third, like I said last week, the V stands for very flexible underwriting. So what does that mean? they're going to be forgiving on credit. They're going to be forgiving with debt to income ratio. However, what's going to be really important is to look at their residual income. What is residual income? That is the money that's left over after they pay all their bills. So we will look at, as a lender, we're going to look at their mortgage payment, then we're going to look at their utilities, look at their any other debts that they have, like child support, child support, car payments, credit cards, that type of thing. Then any money that is left over is what we're going to look at. So you're asking, well, whatever's left over, what does that number look like? In the Midwest, per region, we will have a certain number. So in the Midwest, it's $1,007. So they have to have $1,007 left over in order to help their debt to income ratio, in order to help their credit scenario. Why does the VA do this? They do this because they want to make sure that the veterans can afford the home and live off of what is residual after they close on the home on a monthly basis. So in doing that, the veterans have, VA home loan has the lowest foreclosure rates, and this is why they do this. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any more questions, please feel free to DM me. Follow me on Mortgages by Irma on Instagram and Facebook. And remember to continue to thrive in 2025. Thank you.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Irma. I love that. V for very flexible. That is, isn't that like such a cool tip? I love that. Okay, so I thought of like one more question, but I have two. I said I was going to have one, but I have two.
Okay.
So my first kind of closing question is, what do you think it takes to become a top producing real estate agent?
To become a top producer real estate agent,
Yes.
it takes, I think, in my experience, knowing yourself, having a purpose, knowing what you really want to achieve with this, and also a lot of time and a lot of energy into achieving that goal that you have in mind.
Yes. Well, what comes to mind when I think about you is your dedication, your commitment, your schedule. I mean, you get up really early. That's definitely something I've noticed with every top producer that I've ever interviewed is they all get up at the crack of dawn. And I really like how you shared with me that you go to the gym in the morning and that is absolutely your 1 hour that is just for you. Talk a little bit about that because I think that's important. I think we can get so busy in our life, in our career, that we forget to take care of ourselves.
You know, again, as I said earlier, sometimes this business is really stressful. And not just the business, it's life, you know. I have a family, I have kids, I have a teenager that is almost going to college, and of course, the kids are growing and their problems are growing with them, right? I have a little one, he's just 7, I have 3 stepkids, so I have a busy house also that also comes with stress too. And that hour in the morning has helped me like a lot, because that hour I don't take phone calls, my phone is there for music purposes at the gym, sometimes I go through stages. Sometimes I'm listening to music because I just want to keep my mind out of anything. Sometimes I'm listening audiobooks. Sometimes I'm listening podcasts. All depends in my mood. But that hour is just for me. It's my hour of the day because I am about everybody else around me the rest of my day. But that hour, I really focus on my health, my personal growth in the audiobooks and all of that, and whatever I want to do.
Yes, because we have to fill ourselves up so that we have the energy to give to everybody else, right?
Yes.
So you're doing a great job of really fueling yourself.
Health is so important
So
to be able
important.
to have the energy to serve others.
Yes, 100%. And I think that's a really good reminder for all of us. right? So really kind of in conclusion, and I'm glad you mentioned books, because I remember that there is one book in particular that really was a game changer for you. Because another question that I had was, well, gosh, how do you, Cecilia, stay motivated, stay on track, stay purposeful in those hard days? Like you just mentioned, I mean, you have a blended family, you have 6 kids. I mean, you have a lot going on, and you are a top producer. So there must be something that you're doing to keep your mind just completely focused, centered, and clear. So talk to us about one of your favorite books and how that's helped you. I know it is fun. It is really fun.
Okay, yeah, this book, the name of this book is How to Make Shit Happen.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
And it is short, it's really short. I don't read books, I listen to them because I don't have the time to sit down and read a book. But it talks about that little person we all have in our brains. I thought I was crazy. I thought it was just me having it, but after reading the book, it looks like it's more common than I thought. And that is mediocre, right? And that little person in your brain is the one telling you at 5 in the morning, you can sleep a little bit more. Nah, it's not that important that you just get up at this time, and start doing excuses all the time on why not to do the stuff you need to do. And that little person is always there bothering you. and I'm always fighting it. And when, as you said, when I don't feel motivated, it's not that I don't feel motivated, it's that little person is there bothering me. Like, no, why are you gonna do that? Like, no, they can wait. Or that phone call that you need to do that is gonna be tough, like, do it tomorrow. Like, no, do it right now and get over it, And I'm fighting with that little stinker all the time.
Right.
All the time. And I'm pretty sure everybody is.
Of course, we all have that. But what I love what you're saying so much that you learned in this book is, it's the little person inside of our head, that you didn't feel alone. Yes, it happens to all of us. And doesn't the book actually recommend to name the little person?
Yes.
Yes, give that little annoying person in your head a name. Now, you do not have to tell me what you named your person. That is okay. We can keep that behind the scenes. But tell us how that works, just from a psychological perspective. When you hear that chatter going on, you're like, okay, so and so, you're not going to win. You're not going to win.
Exactly. I am a competitive person, right? So I decided to make my own competition with that little person, and I'm better than that little person in my head. So when that little person is telling me not to do stuff, or you cannot, right? That you cannot is always there. Like, of course I can. You're not gonna tell me what I can or what I cannot. And that's how.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I love that you are in competition, and I think with yourself. Right?
No, it's not myself. It's that person in my brain.
It's the other person. It's the other person. Yes, it's the other person in your brain that is wanting to take over and tell you, oh no, don't worry about it, right? And be mediocre. You're like, no, I'm a top producer. I'm not going to let you win. Yeah. I find that so helpful, and I hope that all the agents who've been listening today take that one little tip away on how to help with mindset. Because all of us fight it every day, right? I mean, it is a battlefield in our mind every day.
When you start running, when you're in the track, I'm not a runner, but when I start warming up, at the beginning, the first thing you think is, I cannot, this is too hard, I cannot. Well, you need to overpass that I cannot. And as soon as you overpass that I cannot after the 7th minute, you're okay, and you're gonna make it. But the difficult part is those first 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then you can do whatever you want.
Yes, I love it.
And that is life. After those 7 minutes, you can do whatever you are committed to.
Yes, you just have to tell your brain, no, like I'm giving another Tony Robbins example, right? But when he says go, go, right? You have to teach your brain, this is not a discussion. I'm the one in control, and whatever it is that I'm saying that we're doing is what we're doing. right?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So before we say goodbye today, is there anything else that you would love to leave our audience, everyone who's been watching and listening?
First, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you. You got this. Just we're all in the same race. Just go and get it.
Yes, I love it. And just keep, stay on your own path, right? Everyone is running their own race. So I hope everybody is looking to you for inspiration and then remembering that they are in their own race to run to wherever it is that they want to go.
And also one more short thing. If you are a real estate agent, just remember we're here to serve others always. If you have that in your mind, everything is going to be easier and better.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You definitely have a servant's heart. I hope everyone saw that today. You're so beautiful. You have such a beautiful spirit, a beautiful light. Of course, everyone would want to work with you. And I just cannot thank you enough for making the journey from Indiana here to Chicago to be with us today.
Thank you. I've been treated as a princess.
Well,
I love it.
Well, good. I'm so glad because you are a princess. And you're an amazing top producer, and I have loved this conversation. So I'm going to say a quick goodbye to everybody who's been tuning in today. Thank you so much. And we always have our next top producer coming up next week. So be watching for who that is. We'll be rolling it out on social media. That is the best way to find out who our next top producer is, who will be taking the stage. So check us out on Instagram, America's Real Estate Show, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, America's Real Estate Show. You can catch all the replays from every episode we've ever had right there on our channel, and tune in. We cannot wait to see you next Friday. So bye for now. All right, Cecilia, thank you so much. This was so fun.